The monastery is an ecosystem with food stalls, tuk-tuk drivers waiting for passengers or transporting inventory, and rolling shops selling brooms and baskets. Some men remain monks all their lives. For many others, the monastery is an opportunity to study. In 1977, we made the first plans for an overland tour through Africa. 37 years later, the dream became reality. We spent 4 years on the road, traveling through 5 continents. Our journey came to a sudden stop in Southeast Asia due to Corona. We have hit the road again, but nobody knows where and when our voyage will end. In the previous episode, we visited Bokor Hill National Park and 2 caves with temples near Kampot in southeast Cambodia.
We are now on our way to Phnom Penh, a distance of about 150 kilometers. Fortunately, it's not that far because we didn't sleep well last night. The guest house where we were staying had a disco that lasted all night. And only when I heard part of Four Seasons this morning I knew it was ended.
This area is very densely populated. We keep coming through places with stalls selling meals and vegetables, with meat hanging on hooks along the street. Traffic is restless. Everyone overtakes left and right. Slow lorries always keep to the left lane. Mopeds and tuk-tuks seem to be exempt from every traffic rule. We have arrived at the monastery in central Phnom Penh. It's a place that we found on our Overlander and where other Overlanders have stayed. We spoke with the leader and he was really nice and told us that we could stay and could use the shower and toilet, and if we needed anything else we should just let him know. We stay in the area where expats live and embassies are. The good news is that local supermarkets are well stocked. The bad news is that they are rather expensive. We walk to the 2 main attractions of Phnom Penh, the Royal Palace and the Silver Pagoda. Both appear to have been closed since the beginning of Corona. We do find lots of tuk-tuk drivers with photo books trying to take us to places that are open. We go to 2 markets instead. First to the large Boeng Keng market. and then to the so-called Russian market, where everything you can imagine is sold. It is a good place for Margriet to buy a pair of walking shoes. Among other things, we find a whole row of stalls with second-hand car and moped parts. The Independence Monument is apparently the preferred set to celebrate graduations. The ceremony takes place in one of the temples of the monastery. A boy who lives in the monastery is ordained as a novice monk. Our host has invited us to attend the event. In the orchestra, we recognize the boys who were studying yesterday. After a dialogue of long texts interspersed with short pieces of music from the gamelan orchestra, the boy is presented with his orange monk's habit. Family and friends are witnesses in their best clothes. About 1,000 people live on the complex, of which 360 are monks. Usually they come from the poor countryside and thus find an opportunity to study. Our host has lived here for 25 years and has adopted 10 boys. Today we start with a tour of the monastery grounds led by our host. The monastery is an ecosystem with food stalls, tuk-tuk drivers waiting for passengers or transporting inventory, and rolling shops selling brooms and baskets. Some men remain monks all their lives. For many others, the monastery is an opportunity to study. They leave when they graduate. There are also nuns. Older women often live here who spend a lot of time meditating. The buildings have been donated by wealthy donors or belong to the government. On many buildings you can see a large plaque with information about the donors. Relatively small stupas dot the entire site. They are all different. The deceased are cremated and the bones are buried in the stupa of the family. There are 2 temples on the site. One for ceremonies specific to the monks and one for more general ceremonies.
1443.
Building of the main temple started in 1443. Food for the monks is donated by the local population. In the morning, we see the monks go out with their begging bowls. The monks often work to meet other expenses. This was difficult during the pandemic. The monks could not leave the monastery grounds and were dependent on what the population put in food at the gate. We were surprised by the relatively large and expensive cars parked on the site. These appear to belong to local residents who do not have their own parking space. The monks themselves have 2 cars together.
And for the second one is the mother of the Buddha who's sleeping. You can see the sleeping lady. When he became a Buddha,
Our host has adopted 10 orphans that he cares for. He is the only monk who does this in this way. He supports himself and the boys through donations.
we have a long story of the Buddha because I just have a short for you. All the people in Buddhism in Cambodia always still keep like this. They need to offer the big candle for the monk for praying in the dome or in the morning. And no worry about anything. But just pity.
There's also a school building on the site. It was closed during a pandemic and has not been used as a school since. The students now go to school off-site. We pass a number of special buildings. The meeting room for the heads of various monasteries, a house built by the French, the general house for meetings, and the doctor's house. We pass the house of the highest monk. He is almost 100 years old. The coffin in which his remains will be kept for several months is already waiting in the temple. His stupa is being worked on. He wants to be able to judge this for himself before he dies. Not only cars are operated by Grab, but also tuk-tuks. They have a big sign that the driver has been vaccinated. Also, DHL deliveries are done with tuk-tuks. We are on our way to a neighborhood in the city where the spirit houses are made that you see in many gardens and in front of many houses. On the way, we get company from a friendly little girl.
Bye-bye.
The basic shape is made of clay in molds. Then they are painted. Gold paint is a top favorite. Garbage collection is adapted to the size of the street. In the afternoon, we go to the National Museum. It is Cambodia's largest museum of cultural history and is the country's leading historical and archaeological museum. The museum houses one of the world's largest collections of Khmer art, including sculptural Khmer ceramics, bronzes, and ethnographic objects. Its collection includes over 14,000 items, from prehistoric times to periods before, during, and after the Khmer Empire. The items on display are often very refined. We mainly see sculpted sandstone and cast bronze statues. There was hardly any color. The museum buildings, inspired by Khmer temple architecture, were constructed between 1917 and 1924. In the next episode we go cycling on Silk Island near Phnom Penh and visit a school in a friendly village further north.